right, Evan Ginsberg back with another edition of Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV, co-hosted by Steve Ludwig, who's doing the Artie Johnson laughing thing with the tree over his head. There you go. There you go.
Interesting.
That's right. We have international R&B superstar Carlton J. Smith with his daughter Misa. Misa loves Smith. There you go. There you go. And Carlton, update us. You've been in Turkey. You've been all over the world. What's been happening?
We're home. But I'm going back to Shanghai, China, and next Saturday, in fact. Going to be there for a while. Then Bali, back to Turkey, possibly Paris. No, definitely Paris again. And just everywhere I can do my thing. It's a blessing to do that.
And what's it like when you go to a place like Turkey for the first time? Is there a language barrier, or is music transcend everything?
There's a language barrier in the Bronx.
There you go.
There you go. Where I go. Right. So, I find that, there's always a language barrier. There's always these linguistic things that you have to get over and get around, and cultural things. But for the most part, what I found is that depending on how you comport yourself, people are wonderful the world over. Because I get asked questions all the time. Well, you're black and you're in this country. What's it like? They treat me well because I treat them well. That's what I mean. If you go in there acting like a thug and acting like all the stereotypes that they see, well, you're going to get a certain amount of attention and flack. But I found people to be wonderful the world over. I can't say anyone culture is better than others. I love them all.
I saw a video of you in Indonesia feeding poor kids. Tell us about that.
I'll tell you something. And this is my camera right here. Everybody out there, just keep in mind, you are blessed. All the little things that we worry about and get upset about. My car window doesn't work. We are so blessed, okay? These are children that will live in 25 to a house.
Wow.
Had to get their water from a well.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? All sorts of diseases and things that are wrong, because kind of find out these little villages, everybody was sort of related and didn't know it. So as they're having these children, there are all sorts of, inbred. I mean, it was horrible. There's some of the diseases and the afflictions that I saw, and it's as a result of that. So to feed them and to show them some sort of hope was fantastic. And it's amazing what people get. Because I was being asked, these little kids that can barely speak English, you play basketball?
Yeah.
You Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Akon?
That's right.
Yes. Akon Jordan.
That's right.
I'm every one of them, okay? That makes you feel better, Shorty. It's okay.
That's funny. That's
But I'm
funny.
going to see them again, so I'm very happy about that.
And speaking of kids, Misa, you're singing today, TV debut. How's that feel?
Yes, I am.
All
And I'm
right.
really excited.
There you go.
She's
And
11 years old. That's my heart.
wow.
I heard the sound check, Evan. Misa's great. Can't wait to hear her live.
She's going to be an attorney. This singing thing is for right now. This is just a little bit fun. She's going to be an attorney.
Well, it's interesting you say that. As someone who's made a living in show business, in the music business,
Yeah.
do you want Misa to follow in your footsteps, or do you know the pitfalls, and what's your take on all of this?
To be totally honest, not at all. Not at all. I'd rather she be an attorney behind the scenes. You're never going to see them on the Grammys or the BET Awards, but they will continue to make money as the artists come and go and fall off. They'll just get a new one. So, I'd much rather she does that, because this business is very difficult for women. Especially if you're pretty or attractive. I don't mean to be the naysayer, the prophet of doom, but just from what I've seen, and there's so many women out there, young ladies out there now who are just so, they all think they're going to be the next Beyonce. And this business chews you up and spits you out. So I don't want that to happen. Sorry, smile, baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Be
Carlton?
an attorney. Get all
That's
that
right.
At least you know you have someone you can trust in the future to be your
Trust
attorney.
her.
Oh, I see. Okay. I know where you live. Yeah.
Okay, so it is a singing career, the heck of them.
Yeah.
And Misa, what's it like on your end to have a father in show business who, may be gone for weeks or months at a time performing overseas? How does that feel?
Well, when I was really little, I thought it was like a year, and he was only gone for 1 month. Whenever he was in China, it was just horrible. I cried every single Monday through Wednesday, like 6 to 7-ish, I guess.
And then you got over it.
Yeah,
Okay.
like he's going. It's nothing new, so I'll be sad when he goes on Saturday, but I guess I'll be okay.
Now she cries tears of joy when
He's out of the house. Everyone's giving her a hard time about her iPhone these days, so we've been fighting about that.
Very much so.
Yeah, but the technology just cuts these kids off. They don't know how to communicate, or
Yeah.
we're working on that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. When I speak to a young person and they're going da 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 da, I go, he's not interested in what I have to say. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Hey, let me tell you something. I come out on stage, I do my show, and I'll give you one song. I'll give you two songs. But by the end of the second song, I will come down off the stage and take your phone from you.
There you go.
And it becomes a part of this show. I don't do it in a negative way. It becomes funny because they're not even aware.
Right.
But I'm like, pay attention. One time I'm in China, I came out and these 5 girls were sitting at a table, and they must have been on their phones for about 3 songs. So I went and took everybody's phone and introduced them to each other.
Right.
Not talking much, and they had a ball. Another time I was sitting in a restaurant. There's 2 older Chinese ladies. They never shut up the entire hour we were sitting there. 2 young Chinese ladies. They never said a word the entire time. They were always on their phones. And I'm like, this is amazing just to see the, you know what I mean?
Katharine Hepburn was on Broadway years ago. Guy puts his foot on the stage. She stops the show and says, "Excuse me, this is not your living room."
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
So,
that's an old, it's an old adage or something like that. You do not put your foot on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're on the stage, unless you got an agent and you're doing the show. See how she did that?
yeah.
Go ahead, Katharine Hepburn. God bless her. Legend.
There you go. And speaking of legends, who are some of the people that have influenced you?
Oh, man, well, it goes without saying James Brown. My main influence was my mother. You know, my father died when I was very young, so I didn't get much from him other than the letters that he left. But my main influence was my mother. And after that, it was James Brown.
Right.
And then it all goes from there. And I've got a million James Brown stories, but one of the things that I take away, I remember one of the last shows he did at B.B. King. I'm backstage. They announced him, ladies and gentlemen, blah, 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 James Brown. And he's getting ready to come out. And he stopped for a second, checked his clothes like that, and then he went on. I remember thinking, wow, you still care? You think about how many stages he walked in, and he would stop and groom himself, just like, okay, I'm good, and walked out there. And I take that with me every time I get on stage. We have to look our best because people are paying money to see us. We have to look our best, you know?
So what do you think of the young performers who before the show, they're hanging out in the audience, then they jump on stage, and you go, they look like the audience.
Exactly. There's no longer any, but they don't know. They genuinely don't, so I almost can't even be upset with them. So, we were talking about Bruno Mars. At least he tries to dress up sometimes to look nice. If you're a rapper, I totally understand. But to me, if you're an R&B singer, you should have a suit on. Look nice. The jeans and sneakers, I'm sorry.
Bruno studied Jackie Wilson and James Brown, right?
Yeah, that's all you need.
Do you know who he was named after?
Who?
Bruno Sammartino.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
absolutely.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, and he always checks his suits before he goes on because one time he did a show on BB King's. He came out because he was rushing.
Yeah.
And my mom was helping him get dressed, right? So you know how you have those buttons and you button it up. It was he buttoned it up wrong.
All the way wrong.
He didn't check it at all.
But that's not one of my worst ones. I split my pants so many times on stage, it's ridiculous. So now sometimes the part of my show is changing my pants on stage. The audience gets a kick out of that.
Yeah.
So I'm changing them right. Bring me more pants out, So why not? Make it all a part of the show.
I have a funny Carlton at BB King story. You probably don't even know this.
I have this here, Carl.
Okay, you got this one? Okay. Go ahead.
One of your early visits to China, you asked me to MC the show. Do you remember this? This was like 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I emceed the show with your whole review.
Yes, you did.
And what happened was I get on stage, and I'm not you. I look out, there's 800 people or whatever. The mic's not working, so I'm standing there like a deer in the headlights,
And what happened? I had this on tape someplace.
Yeah, it went on, relatively soon, but it was like in slow motion. It was maybe
Evan,
30
you
seconds.
said that just
Yeah.
I forgot that. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Was it a New Year's show or something like that?
I believe
A
so.
Valentine's Day show?
I think it was New Year's. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This was a long time ago. Yeah,
You gotta go watch Uncle Evan.
It was-
Freeze in the headlights.
It was right after Curtis Mayfield died.
Oh, God
Yeah,
bless
this was a while ago.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Another brilliant artist. God bless him.
And speaking of BB Kings, I will be hosting next Friday night for Robert Ross and Felix Cabrera. Great blues show. BB Kings next Friday, 8 p.m., so don't miss that. Speaking of BB Kings, and speaking of great live performances, we're going to show a clip of you in China. This is a compilation of some of your great shows in China. So we're going to go to the videotape.
Let's do it.
You know what I'm talking about? It's 11, 12 minutes. It's awesome.
Okay.
You have a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Did I split my pants with this one?
I don't believe so. Anyway, check it out, folks. This is Carlton in action, live. You'll love it.
be heaven, this could be hell. And way off in the distance, so far away, wake you up in the middle of the night. All you can do is pray. onto her back on the floor and got right back up and give her a round of applause. I can only imagine what she does in bed. So listen, I'm gonna go home and think about that shit. Peoti, baby. If you like pain, I got you. Right now, I want you to go on and do what you started to do. Do your thing.
All right,
Wow.
that was the great, and I mean great. There you go. And Carlton, you were saying while we were watching the tape that you're taking your daughter to Jeffrey Osborne. You
Yes.
just saw the Temptations and the Four
Yeah.
Tops. Why is it important for a parent to instill culture and a history of music? We talk about this all the time with Steve, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
There's a glorious culture. There's a glorious history. And I don't mean to sound like I'm a million years old, but when you stop and look at what's being funneled into our kids' minds on a daily basis now. I mean, no, my mother wasn't into Parliament Funkadelic and stuff like that I was into, but she never said those people couldn't sing or dance, and the music wasn't, the message wasn't as negative. You listen to the stuff that's being played now in the morning, taking it to school, it's unbelievable what they're singing and what they're talking about. And it's not so much about the shifting tides or, I mean, I know, you know, when rock and roll came in, people didn't like the long hair, but I mean, there are horrible things being said. And it just goes in them. It's insidious, and this is what causes these kids to have no respect for life, no respect for each other, and it just fuels that whole prison system thing, which is a whole nother show. But
Yeah.
you got to teach kids. So when she hears these songs that I play for, and I hear for two, the OJ's on the Temptations, and she just appreciates. She can tell this is good music, and the message is just a universal. So your parents, you have to. You can't let hip hop and pop music raise your kids because there's no substance in there. I'm sorry. No one is saying anything.
Absolutely. And Carlton, please plug any upcoming gigs or social media.
Come on down to Shanghai, China.
This show is worldwide. This show's worldwide.
Okay, yeah. I will be at the House of Blues and Jazz in Shanghai, China from now until May. After that, I'm scheduled to appear back in Antalya, Turkey. I don't know the name of the venue, but if you go there, you can find me. Paris, I'm going to be doing a wedding. Off in Charlotte, I love you. I met, I got to tell you this, because I just did a one-off in Paris. I met this couple about 5-6 years ago. I was singing in Bali, and I dedicated a song to them. And afterwards, the guy came up and said, look, if I ever marry this girl, I want you to be there. I want to make sure I fly you in. I'm like, sure. People say all kinds of things to me after the show.
Right.
They say, we could do a show on the moon. We just get a long mic cord. Sure, just call me, we'll do it, okay? But sure enough, I'm in Turkey, and he contacts me. I love her, and I want to marry her, and I want you to be there. He flew me from Turkey to Paris.
Wow.
And he had it set up so the band and I were on a boat. And he's walking her along the decks, and all of a sudden he jumps on this boat and begins to sing to her. And she's looking at him like he's crazy. He goes, well, you know what? I can't really sing this, but I know who can. And I come up from below the deck, and the band starts playing. She loses her mind. Oh, my God, is that Carlton? The real Carlton? Because she hasn't seen me in 6 years. And then he pulls out the ring and proposes to her. And she just really lost it. And in typical man fashion, he had nobody filming it or taking pictures.
Right.
I didn't think about that process. She's never going to look like that again, man.
Wow.
We had a wonderful, wonderful time. God bless him. So I'll be going back for the actual wedding.
That's awesome.
Shanghai, China, Turkey, Paris, everywhere. Wherever there's a stage, wherever there's some people, that's what I want to do. And I'm going to be bringing little bit along with me. You know, she's been getting on stage with me since she was like 3 months old. You
And
know,
today's her TV debut.
yes, it is.
That's
The
right.
Ginsburg.
Performing live later.
Yes, Long. Let them
Website?
see your knees.
Website?
Facebook, Carlton J. Smith. Please holler at me. You know, I'll write you back.
All right.
Without a doubt.
And Steve, Classic Pop Culture Radio.
Yeah,
Yes.
PlanetLudwig.com. Question marks coming up.
That's
Part
right.
2 of Dick Dale. All great things. Evan Ginsberg in February will be up. We'll be talking music, though.
That's right. That's right.
Question mark and Mysterians?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, question.
9610.
He's
There you go. There you go. And Carlton's going to stay with us. And when we come back, we have Peoti Visions. Great young hip hop act. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Stretching under sedation, or manipulation under anesthesia, is a very gentle, very precise procedure to very slowly release any scar tissue that is formed as a result of a traumatic injury. Many people ask, how does this work? Will I get hurt? Will you stretch me too far? We only stretch the body part to its normal range of motion. After completing the post-MUA rehabilitation program, it's very common that our patients say to us, hey, I can play ball with my kid again. Hey, I can bowl again. Hey, I can enjoy hiking again. This is what makes it rewarding to us as practitioners.
For nearly a decade, Evan Ginsberg's Legends Radio has featured interviews with the greatest names in the arts and sports. Heard worldwide at legendsradio.net, the program has featured these great musical legends: Ray Manzarek of The Doors, Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, Judy Collins, Roberta Flack, and many more. Stars from movies, TV, and comedy have included Jenny McCarthy, Wayne Brady, 30 Rock's Judah Friedlander, Shelley Berman, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, David Allen Greer, and Paul Mooney. Stars of pro wrestling and MMA include Bruno Sammartino, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Superstar Billy Graham, and Frank Shamrock. Co-hosted by renowned journalist Dr. Mike Lano, Legends Radio is heard Wednesdays 7 p.m. to 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard. We are archived 24/7 with hundreds of hours of classic interviews. Legends Radio also features the best in indie music, showcasing talent deserving wider exposure.
Brooklyn, baby, don't forget the gravy. We are soldiers.
You missed the birth of your mother and father. Don't you dare miss Evan Ginsberg's Legends Radio.
We're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And once again, it's reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia, and it really does make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can follow us on reneemarielanguageoflove.org. Once again, it's reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with the one and only Madhouse TV. You are the man.
All right, and we are back. We are joined by Peoti Visions.
How's it going?
Kyle Ingram returning to the show.
Second time here.
There you go. And Kyle,
Love
introduce us to the band.
All right, well, I'm Kyle KD Ingram. This is my partner, Jay Brown, and DJ Ideal Boyfriend.
There you go. And later in the show, we're going to hear a set from you guys.
Yes,
But tell us how you started and tell us how this all came about.
All right, so I'll give you my version of how it started.
They got different versions.
It's a little bit different. So when I was putting together, when I was producing my sister's album, Linguistics, Phone Waffles T-shirt, little plug.
Bianca. You have to give a name.
Ingram, right.
Yeah.
Kyle, and
Yes.
she wore your T-shirt.
Yeah, she
last
did,
night.
so I had to wear hers. Y'all told me. So.
That's fair.
So when I was producing her album, I started working on my solo project, and he was rapping, and I was like helping him produce his. And he listened to mine, and he was like, "Yeah, there's a lot of original beats." So he started looking for some original tracks. Now, we had a friend of ours who went to high school, and he's like, "Yeah, my cousin makes beats." And it turned out to be him, but we didn't know who he was at the time. So he's like, "Yo, this dude has some good tracks." So he starts playing them. I'm like, "Yo, these are good." And I was like, "How am I going to get on these?" Because I wanted to rap on some of them, too. So I was like, you know what we should do? We should make a hip-hop group. I gave him this whole story about, like, how there's no hip-hop groups out. We could really change the game. We could focus all our energy in one. But really, I just wanted to rap on some of his beats. That's really what it was.
All right.
And so the whole time while when I heard the beats initially, I said, "Wow, all right, I had a whole mixtape planned out." And then I was like, well, maybe we can split the verses because I didn't really feel like writing two verses each song. If I could just split it, like have one verse per song and get my story out that way, it could still work out pretty well, and he can make pretty good hooks. So I said, okay, fine, let's try it that way instead of.
Because at the time, he wasn't really comfortable writing songs. Like, there's a difference between being a rapper and making songs. Like, you know, he was really good at rapping, but when you come putting a 16 and then a hook and then another 16, making that format. He wasn't comfortable doing it. He's good at it now.
Right.
But at the time,
it took time. I had to get
Let me ask you,
comfortable.
why weren't you comfortable? Because you didn't, the hook you put interrupted your flow?
It wasn't.
You wanted to keep on.
It wasn't so much that it interrupted my flow. It was more so I had from the beginning of the whole writing process. I had always just written and I would just write.
Just getting it
For
out.
and so it'd be like pages of just straight.
I'm gonna take y'all all the way back to the beginning. Like I've known this guy since high school. When I transferred my sophomore year.
Still in high school.
Right. Like we were running cross country and we're running 9 miles and we just start freestyling. And he would always rap. I'm like, that is good. If he could, he would have these punchlines, but he never connected them. He would always start laughing. So
when the people go like, oh, I was like, all right, cool.
and I told him, I was like, listen, if you connect those punchlines with some lines, you could be a real rapper. And he didn't really believe me.
Okay.
At the time.
I'm tripping out about the fact you guys are running and rapping at the same time.
We were
time for that.
Shout out to Coach Bates. 'Cause
You said something else that's very interesting. Let me ask you this. You said there aren't any more hip-hop groups, meaning like Tribe Called Quest, Leaders of the
Right.
And that's
And there aren't, I hadn't really noticed that. Everybody's a solo
Well,
artist now.
there's in the last year, because we just came out last year, and the last year or two, there's been a couple, not a lot. There's been a couple other hip hop groups that have been forming, but it hadn't been on a major scale.
People should listen out for it's positive rap. I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, we have very positive rap. There's not in that vein of like an Outkast, Tribe Called Quest. There hasn't been anything.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what I was telling him. I was like, yeah.
But there hasn't been like a 3 or 4 man.
Right. It hasn't been, no De La Souls.
No real ensemble out here.
Yeah, there's no Far Sides anymore. There's it's just.
Far Side. You know about the
Far
Far Side?
We love Far Side.
We know how
Mad Lip.
Yeah. We know all about it.
Okay.
So there really hasn't really been any groups like that. And, that's why we formed together. And, I said it to him, and I was thinking, there really hasn't been any groups, and, we came at it from a whole different angle that way.
There's an amazing documentary, I don't know if you saw it, called I Want My Name Back, about the Sugar Hill Gang.
Oh, I didn't
Have
see
you
that.
seen that?
No.
I heard about
Please get
that. I haven't seen it yet.
Because what they went through, God bless Sylvia and Joe Robinson, but what they went through with Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill Records,
You got to find this documentary, man.
It's a good documentary on Nas.
Huh?
Good documentary
Yeah,
on
I
Nas.
saw that one.
Yeah,
I saw that. It was
Okay.
good. That was good.
I didn't
And-
think he would have enough for a documentary.
No, it was about the making of his Illmatic album.
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
called
Illmatic album.
Time is Illmatic, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was
It's on
talking
cable
about-
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good documentary. Also, Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Yeah.
That's the Tribe Called Quest
Tribe Called Quest
documentary.
documentary.
And how they
It's
ended
done
up
by,
splitting
the
up.
actor,
Michael Rappaport.
Michael
Yeah, I saw it.
Rappaport.
Good movie. Good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
It showed
I
like how
hate
it
to see
split
them
up and
going through
everything.
that,
Yeah, I know.
You know?
See, I didn't know Fife was suffering like that. That's why when I finally seen it from like a different perspective, it was like, wow, this is
Yeah,
crazy.
he's in bad shape.
So back in the old days when you had a band with like 5 guys, you would have, this is the shy one, this is the funny one, you're the quiet one. Tell us about yourself. Yeah.
My name is Kurt. I go by Ideal Boyfriend and like 1,000 other nicknames.
Yeah.
But I usually just sit down and just make a whole bunch of beats at a time. Just sit down and just like go into like a trance or something.
Okay.
And how do you
Okay.
make these beats? What do you use Logic or?
I use Logic. I
Okay.
use Ableton, Virtual DJ for some stuff.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah, just like it's a whole bunch of different stuff.
Right on. Wild and nicknames, man. Who's looking for you? Who's looking
Yo,
for
he
you?
has so many aliases. It's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what, because like when I had met him initially, well, I didn't meet him. His cousin showed me the beats, and I talked to him on Facebook. He's like, here, look at my SoundCloud. So he had like 3 different SoundClouds, and he was like, had different names on each one.
Wow.
And I was sitting there looking like, is this all him? This
Yeah, he
him?
once
Well,
sent.
that's partially because SoundCloud only lets you put like a little bit of music up at a time. So it's just like
He started making more
I
names.
want to put up a bunch of different music.
That's what I was gonna say. He sends folders of beats. Like it'll be like a month. And he'll be like, "Yo, I got some beats," and it'll be like a gigabyte worth of MP3s.
Yeah.
I'm dying to hear these beats now, man. Okay, I gotta get
But you're gonna hear one of them. You'll hear one of
Yeah,
them.
why don't
today
you set
when
up the
perform.
video?
Okay, well, all right. This is a beat that DJ Ideal did. It's called "Falling Star Wars." This is our first project we released very early last year, and it was the project for the most part is more introspective than the other stuff we did.
Okay.
But this video is more conscious. It's about society and how just all the issues of society make you feel like you can't succeed and you still can.
Yeah.
Has a little bit to do with like a little bit of race in there, but it's mostly about overcoming and still chasing your dreams. So.
Right on.
Can I say something
Sure.
real quickly about the video? Really great video, Kyle, and the rest of the guys. But I noticed, as you'll see, part of it goes black and white background.
Yeah.
And subconsciously, I said to myself, well, black and white.
Right.
And that's, it was a great visual on there, that's what it's about,
You know,
black
I
and
love when
white,
people
and
pick
yet-
up on that stuff because they know. I don't know if you know. I also direct and edit our videos.
No, I didn't know that.
So I direct and edit stuff, and I love when people pick up on the nuances of it because I don't like to go into it.
You
'Cause
don't have to explain it, like,
you sound
throughout
real arrogant, like, well, I put it in black and white to hope that, but I don't want to do that. But like when somebody tells me that they got it, like
I hear you.
that's a great
Yeah,
feeling.
But
Steve
toot
got
your
it.
own horn,
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
It was the theme of the video, and I said black and white.
All right, so let's go to video, folks.
Although hip-hop's roots are political, many rap artists today have simply become commodities in a corporate-ruled industry that thrives on a depoliticized message of materialism and escapism.
You've heard of police using stop and frisk, but these young men complain that their encounter with police was more like stop and fight.
Well, now you have the prison industrial complex, and you have what is the ultimate solution to America's economic problem.
Anarchist demeanor, capitalistic ambitions, daily trials trying to justify my selfish convictions. I guess I'm just a product of the system, another number in the listing. See, I love my country still, but I acknowledge the flaws. Everyday logic falls through the loopholes of law. Most scrapping for some scratch, select few hold it all. People fiending for a check, only two go withdraw. Plenty potholes and ditches on the road to riches. Sometimes you gotta switch the lane to get a change of pace. Hard to read between the lines and not be thinking race. Sure, I try to make a difference, being a saving grace, or basking all the ignorance, caping for self, saving face. They say it's just a waste, cause dealing with that shit, man, people probably think you insane. I always thought it funny, I relate to the frame.
Crips wearing blue and the Bloods wearing red. The whites just laugh and the stripes just says that you'll never make it, but them stars never lie. You'll never make it, but them stars never lie. The Crips wearing blue and the Bloods wearing red. The whites just laugh and them stripes just says that you'll never make it, but them stars never lie. You'll never make it, but them stars never lie.
It's in 25 states, with more states looking at similar laws.
Nearly all the income gains of the past 10 years have continued to flow to the top 1%.
We American dreaming, and we scheming, and we seeing that they are leaving us this burden, and we hurting, but we working until we earning, and we yearning, cause nothing is certain. They closing the curtain, so we burn it down. Yeah, we burn it down.
Surveyor of fools, purveyor of cool, film geek, star athlete when I was in school. Never been a slave to the old and new rules. Ice cold is too cool. Life's a chess match, homie, it's your move. And my pawns all gone, but long as I'm alive, no I can't lose. You're ill-equipped to be the king if you ain't got the tools. It's still advised to take this path if you can't pay the dues. Worldwide news lines for designer shoes and morality and views. Niggas doing all the don'ts and they don't know what to do. Better watch how you move before they take the queen and crown and they blame it on you. They hold you down till your dreams drown. Shoot you in the face, claim stand your ground. Yeah, I know we not all equal just because Camelot's table looks round. Crips wear blue and the Bloods wearing red, and the whites just laugh and the stripes just says that you'll never make it, but them stars never lie. You'll never make it, but them stars never lie. The Crips wearing blue and the Bloods wearing red, and the whites just laugh and them stripes just says that you'll never make it, but them stars never lie. You'll never make it, but them stars never lie.
this burden, and we hurting, but we working until we earning, and we yearning, cause nothing is certain. They closing the curtain, so we burn it down. Yeah, we burn it down, down.
What does that mean?
It means that I, like God, do not play with dice and do not believe in coincidence.
Are you like a crazy person?
I'm quite sure they will say so.
All right, Peoti Visions.
Thank you.
There you go. And any musical influences quickly?
Well, there's a whole bunch of musical influences. You know, as we said earlier, Farside, Tribe Called Quest, Outkast. Producer-wise, I'm heavily influenced by Timbaland, Pharrell, 9 Inch Nails, Pink Floyd.
What about your dad?
Say your
What about your
legendary
father? Yeah. We're shining you.
Sonically.
Yeah.
Nice
Butch Ingram.
Yeah.
Butch Ingram. And yeah, no, that's a true story though, because like in terms of when I mix, like I always bring it to him and get his ear, and he tells me like, oh, you should bring this up, do that. So like in terms of like how I hear sounds, it's him. But in terms of where I get my creative influence from, I mean, I can't even say that true, because on our last project we had my dad and all the Ingram brothers. They all play. They all played a song, and they're going to be featured on our next album too, playing a couple tracks. So I mean, like that's I definitely use my family.
There you go.
You know what
He talked his way out of that one, Carl.
They say you'll never make it, but the stars never lie. That's a hell of a hook, and it can mean so many things. And I kept thinking one of the most iconic album covers of all time is Sly and the Family Stone. There's a riot going on.
Yeah, now you're talking. Now you're in my zone. Sly,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, I honestly.
What does that mean?
When the hook came up, he actually came up with it. We were at July 4th. We were out on the Parkway where the Roots have the concert.
Yeah.
And we were coming back, and we were on a train, and we were sitting there, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm thinking about this hook." So then he started saying that. And I was like,
they say you'll never make it, but them stars never lie.
I was thinking about it.
He said the whole thing, the Crips wearing blue and the Bloods wearing red.
Because like, you know, red, white, and blue and the stars and the stripes, and I was thinking like, you know, our American flag is so iconic and it means so many things to so many different people.
It could be kind
of
ironic.
And we were all celebrating
it. You gotta put that on a
it.
t-shirt. That's a hell of a hook, man.
So then like, so he said that, and I was like, oh, we definitely gotta make a song. Like we gotta do it right immediately. And so Kurt, ironically, he sends a beat like right after.
Of course, they sure it's Kurt though. We don't know what this guy with his name.
DJ Ideal Boyfriend.
What's Kurt?
Ideal Boyfriend. And so he sends a beat, and then we're like, all right, this is perfect. And like it just kind of falls in, like into place all the time.
It just feels right.
Can I keep? I'm loving talking with these guys. Is it okay?
Yeah.
The message is positive. It's thought provoking. Is it hard to get that across? Because I'm gonna tell you something. I hate to even promote this thing. But it was on Facebook yesterday. There's this guy that's got this record out about Coco. You know the record?
Yeah.
And I think this is absolute garbage, man. But it's blowing up. It's on TMZ last night.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like
it's a horrible rapper.
When it comes out in hip hop in the '90s, it had a balance. That's the thing that I think is really missing.
Yeah, you can have
X-Clan. You had Boot Camp Click. Like those. You had plenty of groups that were still kind of hardcore or whatever, when talking about the drug dealing and everything. Like Biggie was around, you know.
Yeah.
At the same time, you had a balance where you would have a Tribe Called Quest. They still could get played on the radio, and you still would get that attention to it.
Yes, some intelligent hip hop also.
And so it's kind of like, I feel like it is kind of skewed right now.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, there's still space for a guy that come out with a song like Coco.
I don't think it's difficult to get that message across. I think it's difficult to get that message to people. I mean, people, like, when you hear it, you feel it.
Yeah,
it's just like, if people can hear it, then they'll feel it. So I mean, that, you know,
support great indie hip hop. We have great indie hip hop artists on all the time.
That's exactly, you do.
Right here.
And that's the thing. We need to have, you know, it shouldn't necessarily, like, I love being independent, but it shouldn't necessarily only be independent. And that's what he's speaking about. Like, labels had, you know, who was Tribe signed to? Def Jam was huge. Def Jam had a slew of whole different artists. Nas was talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but Q-Tip worked on that album. It's like there's an imbalance.
I would say it still wasn't as graphic, and the images weren't as stereotypical and as negative.
Yeah.
That Coco video, and like I said, I hate to even blow it up at all, but I mean, again, that just feeds into brothers that's going right into the penitentiary. And I travel the world, And so we're all viewed like that.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't see they don't see cats like you guys are hearing the positive message.
Well, that's what we're trying to change, man.
Right.
That's
There you go.
They're just as mainstream as far as I'm concerned.
And we're going to hear you later in the show, live set,
and
but we
we-
must wrap
Exactly.
it up now. Guys, please plug any websites, social media.
All right, well, first, Phone Waffles, who is Bianca. My sister was also in that video you just saw. She helped me out with the hook a little bit, singing. And you can go to her website, download her new projects. We are Peoti Visions. Go to www.peotivisions.com, Peoti Visions.
That's right.
And download all our stuff. We got a couple projects on
And
there.
on Instagram and Twitter, you can follow us at Peoti Visions. Peoti Visions.
Performing live on the show later. And when we come back, live pro wrestlers. Going to flip it a little. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Thank you.
Yo, you got to do that little dance, man. I need the footwork, man. Like he opened up towards the end of the video, my man.
Yo, he does that
I'm gonna
sometimes
go get
on
these
shows. He
guys.
goes crazy with it.
I love it. I love it. My name is Carlton officially. What's
Yeah,
your name?
Kyle.
Man?
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
For nearly a decade, Evan Ginsberg's Legends Radio has featured interviews with the greatest names in the arts and sports. Heard worldwide at legendsradio.net, the program has featured these great musical legends: Ray Manzarek of The Doors, Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, Judy Collins, Roberta Flack, and many more. Stars from movies, TV, and comedy have included Jenny McCarthy, Wayne Brady, 30 Rock's Judah Friedlander, Shelley Berman, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, David Allen Greer, and Paul Mooney. Stars of pro wrestling and MMA include Bruno Sammartino, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Superstar Billy Graham, and Frank Shamrock.
co-hosted by renowned journalist Dr. Mike Lano. Legends Radio is heard Wednesdays, 7 p.m. to 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard. We are archived 24/7 with hundreds of hours of classic interviews. Legends Radio also features the best in indie music, showcasing talent deserving wider exposure.
Brooklyn, baby, don't forget the gravy. We are soldiers.
You missed the birth of your mother and father. Don't you dare miss Evan Ginsberg's Legends Radio.
Hi, I'm Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. And this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance.
Maybe she needs help with that computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this. You'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue Tequila. Now, mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Do dogs chase cats?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
All right, and we are joined by the crew of Valkyrie Championship Wrestling. We have promoter Chris Levin, we have superstar Nikki Adams, and my old friend Dickie Rods joining us. And Chris, please tell us a little about the promotion. You're the promoter and a referee.
Yes, sir. We started the idea came in December of 2013, actually. And I'm a referee. I've been doing it about 8 years, and just traveling along the indie scene, I was tired of seeing women's wrestling just not being treated seriously.
It's treated like a glorified strip show, basically.
Yeah, I mean, so often it's not about, how talented you are, it's how good you look in a swimsuit. Right. And I was just tired of that. I was like, why aren't female pro wrestlers held to the same standards as male pro wrestlers when it comes to talent, athleticism? I was like, why aren't any companies doing that? And then I thought, the few companies that are doing that, even then they still let a few of those wrestlers slip through the cracks, and they use the less than talented ones, and they just don't have those good stories, that good dramatic narrative. I was like, it just started as almost like a thought, like a game, like a friends, what if we could do this, and we started talking back and forth, and then what if we actually did do this?
And in Japan, women's wrestling is treated as an art form, not as a circus.
Oh, absolutely. In Japan, it's called Joshi wrestling. Mm-hmm. And as anyone who is into the wrestling scene knows, Japan, the wrestling there, it's like mythical levels almost, because...
Yeah. I just watched Wrestle Kingdom 9. It was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Unbelievable.
But just wrestling in general, it's hold to this mystic level of athleticism, and anyone who's a fan, or even fellow wrestlers, they'll like, oh, I wish I could be in Japan. Or
let me ask you this: when you say the female wrestler wasn't taking it seriously, would you say some of the female wrestlers were responsible for that also? Were they just showing up to look hot and not being trained or in shape, or were they equally as responsible for that?
Well, to go back just for the really
disrespect briefly, that went with it.
Just to go back really briefly into the history of it all, in the female pro wrestling, it really came into prominence in the 40s and 50s because all the men.
Fabulous Moolah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And what happened was all of the men were gone with World War II, but they still needed entertainment, so they got female pro wrestlers.
Okay.
And up until 1972, actually in New York State, it was legal to be a female wrestler. Our first show was actually the first all-women show ever in New York State history.
Wow.
New York City history.
Really?
New York State, New York City, yeah.
Your first show?
Yes, which was astounding to me. I was like, how has it never happened within the city limits? But to answer your question, after the 40s and 50s, where it was all such talented wrestlers, because they were the standard.
Yeah.
Sexism came into play. 60s and 70s, the men are all back now. They're not looking for women to be the wrestling. They're looking for them to be the spectacle. The same way you had midgets in the past. They were, the comedy act, and women come in there, hair pull, wear bikinis or swimsuits. And as television started pushing the envelope more and more, wrestling started pushing the envelope more and more with how they portray women.
Okay.
So, Nikki, what's your take on all of this, being treated as an athlete rather than a sex object, which is how WWE generally treats the women?
Well, don't get me wrong. I want to be in shape the best of my ability, and sometimes I have a struggle with that, but it's not all about that to me. I still go to training. I work very hard to try to do the best I can because I want to be athletic as possible. I love wrestling. I always have. It's something I decided I wanted to do when I was very young. And I don't want to be treated as an object or just someone to look at. Granted, no one doesn't want to look unappealing, but I really do the best I can, and I want to be held to the same standard as a male wrestler.
Right. You'd rather put on a 4 or 5 star match as opposed to, wow, she looks hot and that match was awful, which is what we usually see with WWE.
Well, that was happening in boxing for a minute also, until Chrissy Martin came along, who was the first female boxer to be taken serious. She even made the cover of Sports Illustrated, but they were throwing girls in there who were like ex-Playboy bunnies and things like that, and it was people getting hurt You know?
And Dickie Rod, you may be the worst looking female wrestler I've ever seen. Tell us about your role.
My
in the
beard came in very
promotion.
nicely for those matches, I tell you.
Tell us about your role.
Well, it's less physical than what I'm used to, thank God. Now it's nice you get older, less physical, I guess. But I do.
You wrestled, and you stopped.
I
Okay.
did. Now, I stopped for this particular promotion for Valkyrie. You know, actually, Chris came up to me and asked me one day if I'd like to manage Nikki. Nikki and I are close outside the ring, so it's a natural fit. So there's already a built-in chemistry as to wherever we go out there, you know, for the entertainment portion of it. Yeah, you know, everything clicks and everything gels. But you know, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I know women's wrestling has its ups and its downs. You know, Chris, the historian over here, I love it. As I actually learned little bits that I don't even know. But you know, he hits it on the head. You know, you know, wrestling thrived when the men went to war because of women. And to me, in my opinion, wrestling boomed back in the 80s for women as well as the men. We were talking about in the green room, the Jumping Bomb Angels, Evan.
That's right.
You know,
Saw them live.
You know, and it's amazing because when you watch them in that time, you knew that the future was going to be even brighter for women just as much as men.
That's right. I grew up on Moolah, and the Jumping Bomb Angels took it to a whole different level.
Absolutely. It was like, you know, you had Moolah, who was this phenomenal, you know, this brawly type wrestler. You know, it could be technical at times, you know, more or less not. But then you had the Jumping Bomb Angels. And it was like what you see now with the newer way of wrestling, the modern day wrestling. It was like, oh my God, okay. And you know, coming now to present, I walked into Valkyrie, and honestly, it was no disrespect. I had no expectation because I didn't know what to expect. And I really give Valkyrie a lot of credit. They really are putting out something different, and they're very picky on who they put on the show. You guys want to see wrestling, this is where you're going to come and see it.
I want you to know, I have this conversation all the time with old school fans. I always say I have almost no interest in the WWE and TNA women's wrestling. I want to see quality wrestling, and that's what you guys are doing, which is great.
You said you and Nikki were close outside of the ring, right? Mm-hmm. As a result of that friendship, do you find yourself like being careful who you match her with, because are you like overly protective? And I don't know if it's the same as in boxing. You know what I mean? Where fathers won't put their sons in with certain people. Or
I think there are aspects of that. For me, at least, there are definitely aspects of that.
But your friend, you don't want to see your friend be.
But you know what? You know, a lot of the opportunities that you can get are going to be challenges, and it's going to be rough, just like in life. You know, you start that new job. You know, you don't know what to expect, and you can get a little. You know, oh, that guy's a little bit of a, you know, an ass. You know, and he doesn't treat my friend, my wife, my girlfriend, whatever. Whatever, right? You know, but you just have to let them go off and do it. And you know, and Nikki, she had that opportunity at Valkyrie with, I believe it was Kimberly, right? You know, you have a girl out on the Indies who's creating a name for themselves. They have buzz around them, and then you know, Nikki, in my opinion, Nikki, all she needs is opportunity, and Valkyrie's giving it to her. And the first minute that she had gotten the opportunity, you get a little nervous. You know, you know, this woman's known to be a hard striker and everything. But I'm telling you, it's just like, you know, it's like a kid. You know, you let them go out and you let them do what they got to do. Yeah. And you know what? She produced, and that's why we're still here.
Okay. Nikki, any career highlights that you'd like to briefly talk about?
I did actually really enjoy working with Kimberly. It was actually the first Valkyrie show that I worked for. Mm-hmm. And I did look forward to working with her, and we had a great match. We both enjoyed it very much. We both had a lot to bring to the table. I did look forward to that. We had talked in the past of wanting to work together, and that was finally our opportunity. And it really turned out well. We had great chemistry, and it was nice to know, because again, it was two athletes bringing their best to the table rather than worrying about if your hair was in place or something like that. So right now, that was one of the matches I'm most proud of in my career.
A lot of people said it stole the show on that second show.
That is a really flattering compliment.
You won?
No.
Okay.
But I put up a good fight.
That's all right. That's all that matters. You did your best.
You didn't stop fighting. Yeah.
Right on. Okay.
And Chris, set up the video clips.
The video clips. I believe the first one we're going to see is a highlight video of that first event, which was Valkyrie 1 International Joshi Grand Prix. And this was the first ever all-women's wrestling event to be held in New York City.
All right. And we'll play them back to back. So.
And after that, the next two clips are going to be Valkyrie 2 and Valkyrie 3.
Nothing suffocates you more than the passing of everyday human events. And isolation is the oxygen mask you're making children breathe in to survive. And when we were good, just close your eyes. So when we are bad, we'll scar your mind.
All right, and we are back. And Chris, you have a huge show coming up. We have the poster here. Tell us a little about that.
Actually, that's going to be our first show ever outside of Brooklyn, actually. We're spreading our wings a bit, and we're taking from the Norse mythology of the Valkyries, the winged women who choose who lives and who dies.
I want you to know you are far too intelligent and well-spoken to be a wrestling promoter.
He's just like the nicest guy in the world. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't remind you of a wrestling promoter. It does not remind you of a wrestling promoter.
You pull wings off butterflies or something, man. Come on.
But it's our first show outside of the city, which is exciting, and also on a personal level for me because I'm originally from near Atlantic City, and this show is just an hour outside of that, so it's exciting. It's very exciting.
You know what? I just noticed something. This is useless information, but I want to state it. A connection between wrestling and R&B, which is my thing.
Okay.
It was a wrestler that influenced two of the greatest black icons ever. Gorgeous George is where Muhammad Ali got his whole "I'm the greatest" thing.
That's right. Okay. That's right.
And Gorgeous George is also who James Brown got his cape routine from. You know,
That's
James
true.
Brown
Yep.
put the cape.
Yep.
Now I don't know if that's ever been
Absolutely
stated,
true.
So that's a Madhouse
Yeah.
TV fact.
There you go.
Where would I be without it?
There you go.
Actually, Gorgeous George, he was incredible. He was a trendsetter.
Was he good? See, I just know the name and the image. As a wrestler, was he good?
Yeah, I would say he definitely had his moments.
Pro wrestling, when it first started, it was like a carnival attraction. But then, like early 1950s on the Dumont Network, that's when TV first really started in America.
Okay.
And they needed cheap programming, and they went to wrestling. You know, it's cheap, people can get involved with it.
Okay.
And up until Gorgeous George came in, he was it was very much just athletic competition. He was the first person to really introduce
Put a little show business into it.
put that character into it.
You really, you're a young guy. You really know this genre. What made you get into it like this?
I was obsessed as a fan.
Okay.
Then I was 15 years old, and I found a local school. So first thing I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I signed up. I learned how to wrestle, but I'm built like a bird, so I can't.
I didn't want to say that, Chris.
I get it. But I learned how to do it.
Just saying.
I started refereeing, and then it took me to here.
Right on time.
But I love the characters. I love the stories.
I went to a wrestling show at the Garden, but I'm never tell you this, and I've never seen a more rabid fan base. I was scared.
Really?
Like, these people are ready to kill anything, man. You know? Because I usually go to boxing matches where it heats up, but then again, not always. But I mean, these guys are ready from the minute the lights went down. I'm like, whoa,
It's like being at a Carlton J. Smith show.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, well, I'm ready to kill anything, okay?
There you go.
What made you decide to get into wrestling? What made you,
Pretty much the same thing. I think everybody has the same deal. It was, you're a huge fan as a kid growing up, and it's either one, it's going to fade away because your interest goes somewhere else, or you get into women if you're a guy.
Okay.
And good for me. I didn't have any other interests, and I didn't like women at the time. So so I just found
leave that alone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I'm into women now.
Okay.
But it's just that
I know what you mean as a little boy. You're
yeah,
right,
man.
you're right.
Like I was a dreamer, and I think that's a lot of where it comes from too. Unless you're Chris, who just wanted to be a historian at 15 years old.
He knows you decided to speak.
Yeah.
What made you decide that you wanted to wrestle and not model or be a pop singer or something?
I've always liked wrestling. I've watched it since I was really young. It was something I did share with my dad.
Yeah.
Then it kind of got a little too racy, and my parents were like, absolutely not, you're not watching this.
Yeah.
So I would try to sneak it in here and there, and then I was allowed to watch it because I got more, family friendly again. But I was still following it, and it just got to a point I'm like, why am I not trying it? Because it was like my interest that never went away. Like you said, like it either
Have you
goes
ever tried
away.
boxing?
No, I consider that, and then I just realized
It's
I
real?
lean-
That little detail.
And I really just lean toward wrestling. Like I like everything about it. I like the performance. I like the theatric part of it. Just everything about wrestling draws me in, and I'm still
You know,
in love
my
with
daughter's 11. She's very tall, so I've been trying to teach her, you're going to have to learn how to move your hands, just in case. And I want her to learn takedowns and things like that, because the main thing is to get this thing over and done with so you can get away. You know what I mean? So as I'm listening to you guys talking, like, maybe this is what she needs to get into. You know, it helps, you know?
Oh, in wrestling, absolutely. You learn so much about the art form of catch-as-catch-can wrestling if you go to the right school.
What do you mean by catch-as-catch-can?
It's like, it's an old European form of almost compared to, it's like collegiate or amateur wrestling today, involved with submission holds.
You use your opponent's mistakes against them, something like that?
Oh, always, any fight. You know that. You know that.
I'm pretty surprised. Guys always try to do their own thing. You're right. Good
But
point.
one thing I wanted to mention before we get too far removed from the topic, that there's a saying in pro wrestling. I believe it might be attributed to Al Snow, but it might even be older than him. That when you get asked why did you enter the wrestling business, if you answer for any other reason than because I had to, just because, and that's but you know we said it in different words, but you have to, because you just feel so. You just love it so much. You just need to be a part of it.
Chris, please give out the website, Chris. We have to wrap it up. That's okay.
ValkyrieWomens.com, and our show is Friday, January 23rd. And if you go to ValkyrieWomens.com, you can find all of our information, including upcoming shows.
And
DVDs,
spell it.
ValkyrieWomens. That's WOMENS.com. Have all of our video on demand info and DVDs.
There you go. Support it, ladies and gentlemen. Valkyrie's Women's Wrestling. We will be right back with the TV debut of Carlton J. Smith's daughter, Misa Love Smith. Don't go anywhere, folks.
$1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, all abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside. Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body,
I just wanted to love me.
but mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
Nos afecta a todos.
It affects us all.
모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
Quite simply, she is my heart and soul. She is the greatest thing I've ever done. She's 11 years old. She's going to be an attorney one day, but today she's going to sing. She's going to sing a soul classic by Aretha Franklin. Please welcome, if you will, my wonderful daughter, Misa Love Smith. Give me some sugar, baby. Mwah.
Chain, chain, chain. 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 Chain of fool. For 5 long years, I thought you were my man. But I found out I'm just a link in the chain. You got me where you want me. I ain't nothing but your fool. You treated me mean. Oh, you treated me cruel. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain of fools. Every chain has got a weak link. I might be weak, child, but I'll give you strength. Oh yeah. You tell me to leave you alone. My father said, come on home. My doctor said, take it easy. Oh, but your loving is a much too strong. I'm added to your chain, chain, chain. 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 Chain of fools.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy it.
Let our creativity work for you. We design business cards, brochures, annual reports, newsletters and magazines, menus and programs, flyers and mailers, signs and posters, and more. We also do voiceovers. First impressions matter. Make yours count with an expressive voice artist. Distinctive, warm, soothing, natural delivery that can add believability and appeal to any audio project. Contact us to discuss how we can make your project a success. Sierra Graphics. That's info@sierragraphics.com.
Stretching under sedation or manipulation under anesthesia is a very gentle, very precise procedure.
Next week, legendary background singer Carla Benson will be here. But right now, we got the next generation of Philadelphia. Positive hip hop. We love it, we miss it, and here they're bringing it to you all the way live. Please give a big round of applause for some brothers I just met and have immense respect for. They go by the name of Peoti Vision.
That's us. Thank you. Appreciate that. The first song we're going to be doing is off of our latest mixtape. It's called Pornosexual. DJ Ideal Boyfriend, drop that. Shame on the players trying to run game on a pretty little girl like you. I said shame on the players trying to run game on a pretty thing like you.
I'm saying though, let's get Swayze, baby. I know you say you're playing lazy, baby. I put some work in though. I never hurt you though. Okay, maybe a little bit.
And them players got you out there. You don't know some real players out there. Or what you're looking at right here. You see a real player right here.
Look at here, I'm just a man, baby. Yeah, I struggle, God had it in the plan, baby. I tell you this though, if you take my damn hand, baby, I take you everywhere that's touching on the land, baby.
Girl, you the best around. Girl, you deserve a crown. See you done messed around. Mess around with the clown.
So daddy with the bozo.
Yeah.
You should be on TMZ photos. Tiki hut or some Tahiti scenery photos. Saying girl, you don't even know though.
If you think the grass on my side looks a little bit greener, well maybe that's just grass just a little more greener.
Style just cleaner. Woo. Super cool demeanor. My funky cold Medina. My freaky old Adina. God dang, when she clean up, she messed the whole scene up. Brought her to the game and she messed my whole team up. Dream girl when I seen her, she messed my whole dream up. Tried her on a Monday, messed my whole week up. Posted up, she walked by and she messed my whole lean up. Ugly girls be quiet and I bet she don't speak her. God damn. Yikes. She bad. Ooh. Yeah. Girl. I got that.
All right, that was our first track. We're going to do another song for you. Thank you. I don't know if you can hear that round of applause out there, but they like it in here. The second song we're going to do is off of Freedom Ain't Free, and it's a very conscious project. And this song is called Young, Black, and Free, and it's very relevant for these times. DJ Aldo Boyfriend, drop that track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yo, I try to make him understand a god dang. What it take to be the man trying to counteract our plans? Cause black on the back of hand. Afghan, African, Mexican, yes we can. Yeah, they put us through the work, so we just do the best we can. Everything ain't alright, man, look at our right. He was trying to make a living and they killed him outright. Yeah, they left him all alone, stripped clothes and a slit throat. But crooked coppers try to play it off for overdose. Y'all mad at Yeezy just cause he following Jesus and thinking they over God, over oath, over all, so control. Disagree, you overboard. 50 shots don't ring the bell, they overload. Kill 2 birds with a stone, drag a bird with a rope. They take your hopes and their ambitions, watch them burn to the roast. That's why when players get rich, they feel deserving to boast. Yeah, built this coast to coast, they don't work the most. I'm young, black, and free in America. But am I really free in America? Is freedom just a dream in America? Yo, I'm young, black, and me in America. So let me be me in America. There's more than what you see in America. I'ma be who I be in America. Yo, so let me be me in America.
Can you really be free in America? Is freedom just a dream in America? Can I be me in America? Everything ain't what it seems, and they sold you self-hate and you bought cash. Now they just raise your own race, you scared of your own face. Yeah, you took a bunch of lies and you taught it.
Yeah, they taught it.
Now they controlling your fate, play the enemy of the state. Don't be scared to be great, what they say.
Let the haters hate.
Let the builders build, we in the spot.
Let the makers make.
Let the cookers cook and the shakers shake. Ancestors ruled the world way longer than they was some slaves.
Damn right.
But they don't tell you that at school though.
School though.
Don't tell you where Plato went to school though.
Don't let them play you for the fool, bro.
Knowledge is the power, so you know the more that you know. The more we grow, the more we got, the more we getting it. The more they lose, the more they not, the more they missing it. We gotta stop
with black businesses.
Getting green the only way that people gon'
listen in. I'm young, black, and free in America. But am I really free in America? Is freedom just a dream in America? Yo, I'm young, black, and me in America. So let me be me in America. There's more than what you see in America. I'ma be who I be in America.
Yeah.
So let me be me in America.
Can you really be free
in America?
Can I be me
in America?
Everything ain't what it seems in America. Hey, I want everybody in the room, if you could clap with me one time. Just hit it. Hey.
A young, black, and free in America.
Hey, yeah.
But am I really free
in America?
I'm just a dream in America. Yo, I'm young, black, and me in America.
Hey.
So let me be me in America.
Hey, yeah.
It's more than what you see in America. I'ma be who I be in America. Yo, so let me be me in America.
Say what?
So let me be free in America.
Say what?
So let me be free
in America. Say what?
So let me be free in America.
Thank you, Legends TV. We are Peoti Visions.